Okay, so let's talk about something just a tad bit more advanced. Let's talk about the actual event object that is associated with an event when it gets fired. So remember, we always talk about everything in JavaScript being an object. Well, the event itself is an object. So let's talk about how we can access uh, that event object to get more information or insight into our code. All right, so basically, the easiest way to do it is if you write your function handler, you can make it accept an argument that represents the event. All right, so we could do some event handler, and we put E right here. JavaScript will automatically pass the event in there for us. Okay. So we just put a parameter to store the event, and that's going to wind up being the event object for us. Okay. Also, now you got to remember that IE, like I said, behaves differently sometimes. So IE does not necessarily have that event object passed as an argument. So what we have to do in that case is grab the event from the window object itself. So what we would do is create a function, and we'd access the event object inside that function via the window object. So we do it here with no parameter, and again, this is for IE8, so we say window.event, and that would be the event object in Windows. All right. So of course we don't know which browser we're using, so we're going to write our code to handle both scenarios. So it would look like this. E is an argument, so we'd actually just check and see if E is undefined or not. So if E equals undefined, then we know that it doesn't exist, right? So if it's undefined, then we will grab, or we will set E to the window.event object. All right. Now we can use E. So if it's undefined, we're going to set it equal to the window.event, or we just use E itself. Okay. You also see that written sometimes this way: E equals E or window dot, oh sorry, window dot event. So that means that if E is null or undefined or not some truthy value, right, then we're going to use this one. So it would assign window dot event to E if this is null or undefined. Okay. Also, the event has properties on it that we can access to give us more information as well. All right, and which properties are available unfortunately differ based on the browser that we're using, right? But some of the most important ones that you'll use are the target or the source element property. Okay, that looks like this. So E, say var target equals E.target or E.source element. All right, this is going to be available on all the browsers pretty much. All right, so what this is saying is that to this target variable, we're either going to assign E.target if it exists, meaning the browser supports target, or we're going to assign E.source element if the browser doesn't support target, it probably supports source element. All right, so what is going to be a source element or target? That's going to be the element, the object itself, the element that fired the event. For instance, if I have an on click on a anchor tag, it's going to be that element, that anchor element. All right. So that allows us to access that, the HTML event that triggered the event. Okay. And so I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a video where we, as usual, where we put it all together and we walk through some code that actually shows us how to work with this event object. Okay? Take care.